Goedemorgen. My name is Paul, and today we're doing our second episode in traditional Dutch cuisine. And in the wintertime in Overijssel in the 19th century, they only had 4 vegetables. They had carrot, potato, cabbage, onion, and that was essentially it. And then they would share with their neighbors the butchering, and they would take turns every 2 weeks. They would butcher a hog, so they had sausages to go with the ingredients I just mentioned. So we're doing a pair of dishes which are somewhat similar. One is called Stampot met zuurkool and rookworst. That would be potato with some mashed potato with sauerkraut and rookworst. Rookworst is very similar to the German knockwurst, so we're going to use knockwurst today. The second dish is called Hutspot met wittekool and mettworst. Mettworst is not similar to the German mettworst, which is an entirely different sausage. So I made my own sausage. And this one is also mash with white cabbage, shredded, and onion, incorporated and then served with the mettworst. We're going to start with the sauerkraut. And we're making the sauerkraut with stock. So I'm putting on some stock and onion, carrot, juniper berries, a little bit of minced celery, here's the minced carrot, bacon, saving these for later. Finish the carrots. Okay, this goes in with the stock, bay leaf, okay, a little water. Okay, juniper berries, about 6 or 7. And now the kraut. Mix that together good. Cover it. Okay. Now here I have the potatoes that are, I've already started this. So potatoes are going to be simmered gently to make the mash. Now also with the potatoes, I'm putting in carrot. That goes in the Hutspot. So we finished the Hutspot with wittekool, which is white cabbage, and I'm going to shred that very finely. And put a little salt on it, salted water, for about 10 minutes. And then this is going to be, at the end, we're going to sweat the onions and very briefly sweat the cabbage as well, and that will be spooned into the finished potato and carrot. So here we go on the cabbage. Water, salt, we'll let this sit for 10 minutes. This is the knockwurst, and we're using this in place of the rookworst in the Stampot. And I had to make my own mettworst, and I hung them in my smoker, and the temperature was about 180 degrees for 5 hours, and I would have interludes where I would have chips of apple wood, and then I would take the pan out off the burner, and we would have essentially hot air. So lightly smoked, and the spices in order of importance would be nutmeg, allspice, mustard seed, celery seed, salt, black pepper, and maybe a touch of clove, but very little, a pinch. So this is it. This is the mettworst. So this is the tool that I used. It's a grinder. It's the classic heavy-duty grinder, and we have the sausage tube on the end of it. And this tube is actually a little too small. Traditionally the mettworst was maybe twice this diameter. In any event, this is going to taste right. The potatoes are finished, and they're resting right now. And then I'm going to, for the Hutspot, we're going to do sweated onion, and then the cabbage goes last. So I'm putting this in the pan, and I'm going to simmer this very gently. And now we're going to mash the potatoes. We have the potatoes ready. After pouring off the water, I put them back on the burner on very low to drive off any residual water in the pan, and I'm going to mash them with my pestle, which works far better than the standard masher. So here we go. You see the streaks of orange carrot. Okay, we're adding butter and milk. This is warm milk. Let's try that for starters. All right, we're adding salt and pepper. I salted the water initially, but that's usually not enough. And then I'm going to divide the potatoes into two parts, and we're going to be putting the kraut on one of them, and the other one gets the onion and cabbage. So we'll do the kraut. With that batch. shaking off the water a little bit. Add the kraut. Leave the juniper berries in. Okay. All right, this is ready to go back on the stove to stay warm. And then we're going to add the sweated carrot into this one. All right, these are the onions. And now for the cabbage, to simmer very gently for about 3-4 minutes, and that's it. And this is the onion and cabbage, and it's going in the mash for Hutspot. And I'm going to stir this in and start the sausages in this pan. So on the stove we go with this. Here are the sausages. The mettworst goes into the Hutspot, and the rookworst goes into the mash with the kraut. This is the Hutspot, met wittekool and mettworst. And here's the worst. That's one plate. And now for our second plate. And now for the Stampot, met zuurkool and rookworst. All right.
Here comes the
Mevrouw, mettworst and Hutspot.
handmade mettworst.
Yes, ma'am. Heineken for you. Eat smakelijk.
Hutspot with handmade, homemade mettworst. Let's taste. Perfect, delicious. And now, the sausage. Very authentic tasting. Well done, mon chef. Alsjeblieft. And does it go with the Heineken? Let's see. Ah, perfect. Eet smakelijk.
Bravo!